Hello Linux lovers, my name's Wimpy, welcome to my world. Right, we're back at the lodge, so let's see if we can get this show on the road. Today we are going to be taking a look at another one of these user interfaces for Quickemu. That's the project that I've been working on that makes it really easy to run virtual machines on Linux, particularly highly optimized virtual machines, some of which might be Windows or Mac OS. So that project has picked up a pace recently, and I've decided to put some effort in whilst people are paying attention, and a couple of my friends have started writing front ends for it. In fact, Yannick, who goes by French Guy CH, has just joined the chat. Good morning, Yannick, how you doing? So I've got my usual morning cup of tea. Good morning. And we're going to do two things. The first thing we're going to do is release a new version of Quickemu, because I've worked on some features that these new graphical front ends use. So we're going to make sure that's out there. And then we'll take a look at Yannick's GUI, because I saw last night he published a new version and there's an interesting new feature in there and I want to see how it works. So morning Yannick, morning Paul, welcome back. Hello Takov. I saw your comments in Discord. I think I understand. I think you're saying when you're using the Git version of Quickemu, you can't create shortcuts. So not sure I'll look at that today, but I think that's it. If I've got that right, can you chuck an issue in GitHub for me, and I'll take a look. Right, so let's do the usual thing. Let's whiz over here. So this is the project that I've been working on, Quickemu. I've been wanting to fix two bugs, but I've got to the point where I'm thinking I need to get this version out because there's a ton of new stuff in it, and I'll work on the outstanding bugs. But let's just take a quick look. Yeah, no, this is the one I need some testing on. So if you are a Fedora or an Arch Linux user, I want you to take a look at issue 102 here, and in particular it's about getting Windows 11 working. So and in particular it's to do with secure boot and EFI on Fedora and Arch to some extent. I think Arch is working. I can't quite tell from the comments if that's fixed, but I have a branch called Fix 102 which has some extra bits in it too. So this all works fine on Ubuntu. It's only people using Arch that have reported this issue, and it's only with Windows 11. So I want to get that fixed, but you know, I want to also get out this new version with all of this good stuff in it. So this is my project, and then what we'll be taking a look at a little later is Yannick's, which is I shot by it, this one here, Quickgui. So this is Yannick's project that we'll be taking a look at later, and I have to say it's very pretty. So I did have a play with this the other day. It looks like it's inspired by, what's that tool? The Raspberry Pi Imager, is it? I think that's what it's called. So we'll be taking a look at this. Hello Luke, how you doing? Baby just fallen asleep. Well, welcome Luke, welcome. So it's interesting that sort of Mark and Yannick have approached this from slightly different positions, but in the same way. So Yannick's gone for the download experience first. So really looking at Quickget, wrapping up Quickget in a UI. And Mark does have a download feature, but where he's put more effort is in actually creating a thing that can run the virtual machines. So it's interesting, but they've both chosen to use Flutter, which is especially pleasing considering the work that I did at Canonical, and also Luke, who's here in chat, was spearheading that effort at Canonical right in the early days before anyone knew we were working on it, to actually sort of enable Flutter for Linux. So that's what we'll be looking at. But what I need to do first is, as I can see, those bugs that I'm interested in haven't been fixed. I did a few commits last night, and one of them was to bump the version. So I thought I'd just show, the reason why I want to get this version out is there's a couple of features that the UIs are using. And I know Yannick's is using the newest of these. So let's just get zoomed in. So if we go to that directory and run quickget. The other day we were working on this feature list, which pumps out a CSV of all of the supported distros, of which there are now some more, because I think OpenBSD landed yesterday. So I've merged that in. So this is a CSV. And then what I did is I added this feature, list JSON, because now we've got it outputting nice CSV. I was able to pump that through a JQ filter, and we now get a JSON dump, which was the original request from Mark and Yannick. And I know Yannick is consuming the JSON version of this. Yeah, so the mentor, you're writing or were writing a PowerShell implementation. I imagine the JSON version of this would be useful to you with PowerShell. Oh, so Yannick, you're still using the CSV. Okay, fair enough. So also welcome, the mentor. How you doing? Let's I just need to flip some tabs around in the other window here. So that's like one of the new features, and then so that was quite fun actually. So that came from a conversation we were having in Discord. By the way, that's wimpysworld.io/Discord. Got nearly 2,000 Linux nerds and open source devs hanging out in our Discord now. And it was Phil gave me the idea to just convert the CSV to JSON. So we'll just take a little look at how that was done, because that was a bit of fun. So that's in Quickget, isn't it? So I've also completely refactored Quickget. Like the whole thing has been rewritten to make it a bit more sustainable, and then I've put these docs at the top of Quickget that explains to people that want to add, another OS, like what they can do. And there's a few things in here, bits of reusable code. But here's our list JSON. So here's our list CSV that we made a couple of days ago on stream here, or a couple of nights ago, whenever it was. And that pumps out a CSV, and then list JSON basically just calls list CSV and then pipes it into this rather elaborate JQ filter that turns that CSV into JSON. So I was pretty happy with that when that worked. And of course, this was code courtesy of Stack Overflow. So you'll find the link to the comment that I found in there where somebody had refined a nice CSV to JSON parser. It is astonishing what you can do with Bash. I think if I'd have known where this project was going to go, I might have started in a different language, because we're now well into the realms of the edge of Bash being suitable. Let's just catch up. Yeah, so Luke says that since he did that early work with Google at Canonical on Flutter, he hasn't looked at it, but it does seem to have matured quite a lot. I noticed that there are people at Canonical now that are Flutter developers, so I'm guessing that they're on the desktop team, just working on the Flutter implementation and related Flutter projects at Canonical. Why not export a JSON? Yeah, no. I just demoed. We have indeed done that. So you've been working on Quickget and is that in PowerShell, the mentor? Is that the one that was written in PowerShell? Also, it's a bit early to be calling it NG. So an electron. Oh, right. Okay. So Luke says he's interested in creating an electron GUI. All the GUIs. We'll take all the GUIs. I think this project's going to get another boost of love next week because I think I'm lining up something with Wendell to talk about this a bit more. And I've been doing some homework on Looking Glass for the GPU pass-through stuff. So Yannick says he finds it a lot easier to consume the CSV. Well, I'm glad that that worked out. We have both now, so it doesn't matter. So I don't know if Mark is using the JSON at all. I think he's using the CSV as well, because I only added the CSV like afterwards. But what I did add for Mark is we noticed there's a quirk in Quickemu where you can name the process, but unless you read the source code of Quickemu, which I had to do, that name is truncated or is only 15 characters, so it's not a very reliable tool. So what we're doing now is we're dropping a PID file for the running VM in the VM directory, and Mark is now using that to actually do the sort of process monitoring of the virtual machines, which should mean that bug we ran into a couple of days ago and we were testing his tool will be fixed. So that's another reason for getting this out, because there's a specific feature in there for Quickemu GUI, which is his project. Hey Phil, welcome. Thanks Phil. So Phil has been working on a feature. So there's, which by the way, Phil, I refactored last night. Here is the refactored versions of what you submitted. So I've made the code that you sent non-blocking in the UI now. And I'll explain why that is in just a moment. It's related to testing these GUIs. So there is a capability in Quickemu to ignore unhandled model-specific registers. And the reason for this is that sometimes when you're running macOS and Windows, depending on the host CPU, it just won't boot or run those VMs. And that's because it's trying to access a CPU feature that maybe your host doesn't implement. And so there's a way to tell KVM, ignore anything that I can't handle. Thanks very much for the confetti, Yannick. So we've added a feature to detect whether ignoring unhandled model-specific registers is enabled or not. And if it's not enabled, it will warn you if you're starting a macOS or Windows VM for the first time, and that's the other change I've made, Phil, is to only check that when you're trying to create one of those VMs the first time, as opposed to on every boot, because if you've already got the thing installed, then it must have worked, so you probably don't need to present that warning. And then instead of having a bunch of prompts that the user has to follow as the VM comes up, it just displays this is what you can do to enable this now. And then we've added this here, which is you can use Quickemu to actually drop the appropriate KVM configuration and rebuild the initial RAM disk. So that's all implemented, and that's a step to the future as well, because I think this is something we will need when we get into GPU pass-through stuff. So that's a nifty feature that I might tweak this UI at some point, but it's functional. It does its job. Converting CSV to JSON will cause. So JQ takes care of all of that, the mentor. That's why JQ is used. It outputs valid JSON without you having to worry about it. So have I considered Python or Go? If I was to rewrite this, and I really don't have the time to do that, I would probably use Python. I don't have time to, I don't know enough about Go to be efficient at rebuilding the project in Go. To be fair, for what this does, Bash is fine. This UI integration stuff is kind of where you think, oh, throwing JSON objects around, it's a bad. I'm in a bad place right now. Anyway, sorry, what's this, Yannick? I know a flavor that embraced Flutter for the desktop too. What's that, Yannick? What's that? And yeah, the mentor's confirming that, yeah, he's writing an implementation of Quickemu in PowerShell. Okay. So the GPU pass-through stuff, I'm definitely not starting until at least next week. But there's something else I want to be working on next week, which I've been... So I'm back here, I'm back in the lodge. Thank goodness. There are a litany of reasons why I haven't been here for the last few weeks. So, and I've also got a slight change to my setup here because... as you know, a bit of a Star Wars nerd, and my limited edition stuff arrived. So I've now got my Stormtrooper mouse and my Stormtrooper keyboard. So I'm fully maxed out on Star Wars nerdery here. So I'm super happy with those changes. I've got a Death Star clock down here to put up. And what you can't see is I've got a couple of metal plates of Star Wars memorabilia, which are up there, and I have another one of those, which I might put on the wall behind me here. So yeah, I've got all of this set up now, so this is very, very happy with this arrangement. So the reason I've got that set up is the other thing that's new is I have another capture card, USB capture device, and I'm going to be doing some Raspberry Pi stuff here with Yannick, although he doesn't know it yet, starting next week. So yeah, this whole overhead view thing will become more relevant next week when we start hooking up Raspberry Pis and I need to actually do capture of Raspberry Pi output on the second screen here and everything. So I'm all geared up for that as well now. So I've got a big box of Raspberry Pi stuff to bring and stick in my storage down there. It sounds a bit grand, but this little space is sort of becoming my office space during the day, but then also my little hack space because I don't have space for some of this stuff at home. So I think I'm going to be doing more from here out of office hours. Right then, so let's get back to the code chat. So let's have a quick look. Yeah, there are no commas in the data though. The mentor, if you think about what we're actually presenting there's no need to have commas in the data at all. It's just OS names, release numbers. Unless Pop OS does something crazy with adding, more unusual characters to their distro name, I think we'll be fine. Oh, right. Okay. So Yannick, you're talking about re-implementing the software boutique in Flutter. There was something that occurred to me about that idea. All of the Python boutique module stuff, that's all going to have to be re-implemented from scratch. So it's not just going to have to be the UI, it's going to have to be the whole back end. So consider that. Oh, you like the rounded webcam overlay? Yeah. So yeah, I've got all of those. I really need to get around to doing these OBS tutorials, how I've fiddled all of this stuff. But yeah, I've got squares and circles and portrait versions as well. Right, there we go. So let's just have a look. Wow, so much stuff. Right. So it's not a left-handed mouse, it's an ambidextrous mouse. I did recently get a specifically left-handed mouse. It was the Razer Naga left-handed edition, and it is sculpted, and it's the first time I've ever had a left-handed sculpted mouse, and I used it for about 3 months, and honestly I hated it. I just couldn't get used to it. That shape, just not for me. So I've sold that. I found a group of left-handed users that are interested in Razer products, and there was somebody asking if anyone had one, so I sold it. And I think I've got a Viper Ultimate now at home, which is a wireless mouse with a little charging stand, and that's an ambidextrous design. I'm much happier with that. So I've learned I don't like the sculpted shape mice at all. Yeah, you like the clean desk. Good. And I've got my iPhone as well now, so I've got that on a magnetic charger, which I'm very happy with. So let's have a look here. Yes, Yannick. So we'll be working on the Raspberry Pi images for Ubuntu Mate, and then I've got a ton of other Raspberry Pi projects, and I thought I'll do all of those here. Right. Okay. Yeah. Like pop, comma OS, comma. Yeah. If they do that, then we won't support them. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of distros listed in Quickget now. And 2 of the free BSDs, which I've tried. Oh my goodness, it's like taking a step back 25 years when you install the BSD. It's like Linux from the mid 1990s. It's astonishing how things haven't moved forwards. Let's have a look. There's no, it's all right. So Yannick, you've fully considered the ramifications of implementing the boutique in Flutter, and that's it. We're doing it. All right, fair enough. I mean, I don't mind. I really need to. I need to learn another language, and I think something contemporary like Dart and Flutter is a sensible place for me to pivot to. The last time I learned something, well, I learned Godot, I suppose, quite recently. So that was a new language, I suppose, I learned a couple of months ago. That's the first time I've immersed myself in a new language for a long time. So prior to that, Python was the last language where I knew nothing about it and had to skill up, pretty rapidly. And prior to that, it was PHP. Glad those days are over. Sorry, Yannick. Yeah, there is a Facebook group for left-handed mouse users, and that is where I found somebody requesting the mouse. Since then, I've noped out of Facebook, left that behind. Hey, DeFips, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. So we'll get into actually doing the release and the testing. So I just committed to using a mouse with my right hand. Oh, so Luke, are you left-handed and you use your mouse right-handed? Oh, I see. Okay, so you are. You're left-handed and you've learned. So I'm left-handed and I use the mouse left-handed, but I never remap the buttons, so I leave the buttons in a right-handed orientation. And that was really because when I used to do tech support a long time ago, it messes with your head when you pick up somebody else's mouse and everything's back to front, so I just learned to do it the other way. Right then. Yeah, so that's true. The BSDs have kind of become very hyper-focused on sort of concurrency and performance and network security, as Yannick points out. Right, okay, I'm going to have to get going. You're all very chatty, it's lovely. You're cross-dominant, okay. Yeah, so I can play, well, I used to play racket sports a lot when I was younger, and I could play left or right-handed. And I was in the school cricket team. I don't like cricket, I think it's dull and uninteresting. But I was in the school cricket team because I played badminton and tennis at a very high level, so I had hand-eye coordination. So consequently, I could strike a cricket ball with a bat. And I found out that the skill that I had is that I could address the bowler left or right-handed. So I would, if I was up against somebody who was good, because I knew nothing about cricket, I would stop the umpire every couple of balls and let them know I wanted to change the way I was addressing the ball. So the bowlers never quite knew what to do because I would keep switching backwards and forwards. They could never kind of figure out where to, aim the ball because I kept moving around. It was the only tactical advantage I had, because other than that, I knew nothing about the game. Right then. Lots of left-handed people here. Yeah, it's good. Well, that's good. Right then. Let's get into this. Let's get a release out. Oh, I hate cricket. It's the most boring. So I once got tickets to go to one of these like celebrity one-day events. Oh my goodness. What a snooze fest. It was no. Not interested in the slightest. Maybe I have to hand in my British card after that admission, but yeah, it doesn't interest me in the slightest. Right, let's just make that a little bit smaller because we're going to do a release and that's a bit much. So there's a ton of stuff in here. So let's have a little look at the commits to remind ourselves about the new versions. So we should do a... Nope, no, that's Yannick's project. We'll come back to that in just a moment. So we will go to the releases. I'll move Yannick's project here so I don't get confused. Right then, we're going to do a new release and it's going to be 2.2.6, and this time we're going to have a couple of changes. Also, this keyboard is US layout, so I haven't quite fully adapted to that then. So we're going to have quick get and Quickemu. So quick get so we added list CSV and list JSON arguments for UI developers. We have also added FreeBSD. No, we haven't added FreeBSD. We had that. We've added OpenBSD. What did we've added? Gosh, so many others. Hop underscore OS, elementary OS, Linux Mint, open. It's not like that, is it? It's open SUSE, Leap, Tumbleweed, and Micro OS. Is that all the new distros? We're missing one. I know we got Fedora, but we had that for a while, I think. Added cache checking for all distros that publish shards. So the inside scoop is they all do except for elementary. So what else did we do with quick get? Let's just see. Oh, I've gone the wrong way. This one commits. I'll just go there. There we go. So free whisper. Okay, well, let's just start making a note of what we've got here. So disable all disk tuning. So Quickemu. So turns out over optimizing the disk subsystem caused a bunch of problems, so I've basically backed that out so that people can make it work everywhere. So let's see, what else have we got here? Okay, added MSR ignoring unhandled machine specific registers. Right, thanks. That was, like I say, American keyboard Phil. Was that Phil? I think it was Phil that did that, wasn't it? Let me just double check. I'm not making that up, am I? Yeah, it was. So let's get all of this. I think most of this was Yannick. I think those three were. Let's have a look. OpenSUSE MicroS was not you. Yeah, okay. So I think we'll do thanks Yannick, and can I remember who it was that did it? No. Let's go and look. Crikey blimey, I've forgotten how much work. Here we go. That was Attila. What was their username though? Gosh. AP, there we go. Why am I being dim? Okay, well, that's curious. It's not doing autocomplete, but okay. Added hash checking for all distros that publish shars. We did do that thing. So let's just whiz back here and take a look at everything else we added, because there is a bunch of stuff here. So there's a bunch of refactoring. We don't need to mention that. What significant issues did we fix? Updated the docs. That doesn't need mentioning. This was interesting. So we disable all network interfaces while installing Windows. Microsoft have changed the setup. It does an over-the-air update if there's a NIC with internet access, and it will only allow you to do an online account. And that situation has changed a few days ago, so we've worked around that by simply turning off all networking when you're in the install. Right, that was a fun one, so worth mentioning. Oh yeah, we did. This is mostly for my benefit, because when people use it now, I'll get like useful debug information in their reports. Right. Yeah, we did a load of stuff with Git, so we're now part of Hacktoberfest. Right, okay, let's have a look. There's some questions. I will just come through here now. So, right, let's have a look. So, hello Jay, the developer. Thanks for stopping by. Bang project. What's that all about? Right. So there's a GitHub plugin thing that auto drafts releases. Ooh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I might have to have a look at that. I should probably automate some of that stuff. Bug fixes and general performance enhancements. I don't do that. I don't like that. There's also auto generates release button as well. Ooh, okay. I'm too far into this now to click that, but yeah, we should have a look at that. Not fun when you get told to stand up. The management wants to increase your. So Takov asks which shars are possible. I did a cheeky thing actually. What I decided to do is add a simple heuristic to the hash checker. So whereabouts is it? It's up. Is it here? It's a bit further down. Let's just get past all of this. It's all the Windows stuff. Here we go. So when you do a check hash, you send it the file name of the ISO that's just been downloaded and the hash, and then it checks the length of the string that you've sent it as the hash, and then determines it must be one of these based on the length of the hash. So it supports MD5 SHA-1, SHA-256 and SHA-512. So there you go. Yeah, so quick get is I think nearly 1,000 lines. Yeah, 950, and Quickemu is about 1,100, I think. There. So, a couple of thousand lines of shell. Which is interesting, because I think the very first version that Popey and I sort of cobbled together was probably, I don't know, dozen lines, something like that, and it did what we needed back then. But turns out, you know, it's been interesting. I've been using this as an opportunity to learn some new stuff about KVM, its kernel interactions. You know, when I did the macOS support, I had to learn a whole load about the internals of macOS in order to support that properly. I've had to learn a bunch of stuff about Windows 10 and 11 in order to do the installers for that. So whilst the project does what I need, because basically I can quick get Ubuntu flavor release and be testing and working in an Ubuntu VM in double quick time, and that's basically 9/10 of my interest in this project. So it does what I'm interested in it doing. But doing these other things is a learning opportunity, and that's why I'm exploring these other things, and why I'll be interested in looking at the GPU pass-through stuff. It's been something I've had at the back of my mind for ages to learn about, and I've not done. So I should be using this as an opportunity to do that. So I was wondering why it was so easy to create a yeah. Probably to turn the feature on. So yeah, I've just nerfed Windows when you do the install now. So no network. In fact, somewhere down here there's a there we go. This is it here. So if you're installing Windows and the ISO image, the boot ISO is attached, then just disable all the networking. That's the fix. Yeah. It also makes the install a bit quicker because it disables all of the online checking stuff. And then Danny, I think, did it in a couple of releases ago, but submitted all of that stuff to make the Windows install like even more automated. So all of the drivers are automatically installed now, which is terrific. Right. Well, the reason I did that SHA thing, right, Yannick, is this. Everyone was writing like their own full like get distro scripts as functions. So I decided, look, let's look at the pattern. Everyone was doing something like this. Everyone was figuring out, you know, pasting in their own string for a pretty name. And everyone was, or in fact, some people were just ignoring doing the hash checking because it was a pain. So what I did was, by creating a bunch of sort of utility functions, you can get down to something like this. Let's just find our first. Here we go. Well, this is the elementary downloader now. So validate the releases, which you get from the function that you create called releases elementary. Build an ISO string, build a URL string, get it, make the config. So, and then if you do something a bit more elaborate, so FreeBSD, which has got the hash checking, you build the ISO, you grab the hash from somewhere, you build the URL, you download it, you check the hash, you build the config. So it's very easy now to actually stitch together. Even, you know, the Fedora one's a bit more complex because it uses JSON responses to, you know, get the versions, and, you know, the Mint one's a bit more complex, but, you know, they're really easy and they follow the same pattern now. And that pretty name is useful for the GUI builder as well. So yeah, when we build our list, we use the pretty name function because I was finding we needed that all over the place. So we have a pretty name function to you know, return a pretty name for the OS. So yeah, it was worth doing because it simplified things, I think. Right then, I think we've answered that. Good, thanks Takov, glad I answered the question there. So Yannick says he's learned a lot about Bash looking at that script. Now when I want to do something, I wonder, how is that done in Quickget? Yeah, so I want to go through it because quite often you'll find people saying, oh, this Bash script isn't POSIX compliant, and then go and remove a bunch of stuff, like because it's a Bashism. Well, I want Quickget to be like not POSIX compliant. I want it to be a Bash script. So I've been replacing things like sed usage with Bash string manipulation to do, you know, uppercasing, lowercasing, string in string comparisons and stuff like that. And I'm gonna, at some point, I'm gonna go through and find any leftover POSIX stuff and yank it and replace it with just, you know, full-on Bash. There's not much of that, to be fair. Right, okay. So that's all the new stuff, and then there's the there we go. So I think actually that is the lion's share of what's completely refactored. Okay. I probably don't need to say that. That's not a feature that's user important. So added OpenBSD, Pop OS Elementary, added that, added hash checking for all distros that publish SHAs. Okay. And then disable this all disk tuning to improve compatibility on encrypted file systems. Disable all network interfaces while installing Windows. Don't need that. This enables users to create local-only accounts. Added support for ignoring unhandled machine-specific registers. Yes, we did. And improve the status messages by including host CPU and then we also say added PID file support. Okay, that's what we did. We'll just go and take a quick look at the pull requests that have been closed, because this may alert us to anything else we did. Okay. I'm not going to reference this because I really don't think that this is working properly. It's a slight improvement, but it doesn't work for me because this enables USB 2 Spice sharing on macOS, but it doesn't work because all of my USB ports are USB 3. So it's kind of like, unless you've got only USB 2 ports on your machine, it doesn't really actually add anything of value. Unable to start a Linux VM. Okay, so Yannick's fixed that. And Impish. Oh, okay, we should probably mention that. So, I think Yannick, you've probably got your Hacktoberfest points just off this alone. Okay. Initial Fedora support. Where did that come from? Oh, that was the mentor. Okay, so was that in? That was in the last version, though, wasn't it? Yeah, that was in the last version. Yeah, 9. Yeah. So yeah, I've used this project and the OBS Snap as a means to participate in Hacktoberfest. Hello. Hello, Caffeinated Linux. That's Tyler, isn't it? How you doing? How are you? You're up early. Right then. So I think that is what we'll use. I think that is a good enough set. So let's publish that release. There we go. There we go. There's our lineup of contributors. So let's just flip over very quickly to here, and we'll switch to development Debian packages. There we go. So we'll just bump that to 2.6. Oops. New upstream release. Okay. So let's go through this very quickly. Vocal 1.0. Let's grab the source that we've just published on GitHub. DPKG build. There we go. So let's just build all of these one after the other. So Pursuit is still supported, although I have upgraded my main systems to 2110 now. There's a horror story there. Spent most of last night, well, all of last night, fixing the OBS Snap for 2110. There's a rather significant bug there that needs some attention, but I've worked around the issue. Also with Tamas, who works on Plex for Linux, who I met a couple of years ago. He had the same issue, so together we were on the Snapcraft forums figuring it all out with help from Alan Griffiths on the Mir team. And of course, now we have Jammy. So this is the point in the release cycle I hate the most, when you have 4 Ubuntu releases in the support window. I hate this time. So we can now deput all of those to Quickemu, and we'll do this and do Jammy first. In fact, let's do this for fun. Oh no, I can't be bothered. Should probably put a in fact, can you hear that? I think that's the fire alarm or something. No, it's not. It stopped. Okay. Did I upload that one? I don't think I did I? Oh yeah, I did. Vocal. Okay. Right. There we go. So those should all be winging their way to the PPA. I've used Nano those past days. Nano's great. Right then, so let's just take a quick look at Launchpad. And let's go down here and make sure that all of that's building. There they are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so they're building. So what I will do is cheat a little bit. I will just drop these files. Quickemu to user bin. Because I'm going to test Yannick's tool, and I know that Yannick needs a current version of this installed, so I'm not going to wait for them to build. I'll just do this. Right then, so there's that. So if I do quick get -- version, oh, you must specify a release. I've broken something. Well, that's a bug. That needs fixing. Oh, quick get. No, that's fine. I'm using the wrong tool. There we go. 2.26. There we go. Right. So that's the version on which Quickemu. Right then. There we go. Good, good, good. So let's just take a look. How many points do you need for the t-shirt? So treat or t-shirt, as Esme points out. I think you need to have 5 pull requests accepted with the Hacktoberfest tag to participating projects. So as a project owner, you need to do something to enroll the project so it gets tracked. And then each PR needs to be tagged with, I think it's Hacktoberfest accepted. Yeah. Oh, or late. Okay, Tyler, you're up late. Fair enough. Okay, have the snap theme figured out a fix yet? The problem. I don't know that the snap team have, but Alan Griffiths, who works on the Mir team and maintains snaps, has made a suggestion as to how it could be solved. So that as a app publisher, you don't need to republish every app in the store. Okay. Yeah, good point. All the text editors are good. Esme says you just need to pick one you know how to exit. Right then. So right then, let's go and get Yannick's tool, which is going to be in here. So here's Quickgui. How you feeling, Yannick? Feeling confident? Let's grab this. There. So the source code, and then he's put up these tarballs of the build. Show in a folder. Where did that go? Whoa, I'm on the wrong screen entirely. So, whoop. There we go. So let's just copy that, and oh, I've got loads of stuff in there. Okay, let's make let's just make a new folder called Quick. What's it called? Quickgui. Paste it here. Then extract. So Yannick, one thing I was considering is making an option for quick get to get the GUIs. So you can do like quick get quick GUI, for example. So I was considering that. So I'm just going to run this inside the in its extracted directory. So here we go. This is Yannick's tool here. Hopefully you can all see that. So it's going to be using the CSV generator in that new version of Quickget. So here are all of the pretty names. So we'll choose the Chelsea Cucumber edition. We'll have some impish and we'll hit download. Check it out, Yannick. You've got a progress bar. I wonder if it's going to work. 1% it says. Okay, let's have a look. So I'm getting the full beans on the downloads. So I wonder if I've got a massive sync happening in the background. Can I pause the whole thing? Yes, I do have a massive sync running in the background. Even so, this is not going to take too long. So nice one, Yannick, on the progress. That's fantastic. So, yeah. So Yannick's Quickgui. I like that you're on brand with the naming, by the way. So thinking about it, I think most of the bandwidth that I'm using at the moment, I need to probably explain how I'm doing this. So I'm actually streaming over Wi-Fi from here. It's kind of funny, but it's not too bad because I've got my antenna on the top of the shelf just there, and the access point is just the other side of the drywall. So it only has to go through 30 centimeters of drywall, and then I'm on a massive super fast backhaul. So yeah, but I've got Sync Thing running, which is pulling in a whole load of video archives from home because I need to edit some videos for work later. And then we're downloading this and streaming at the same time. So it seems to be holding up, seems fine. So I do like how pretty this looks, Yannick. Things that I was thinking of adding to the CSV and JSON is I thought it would be possible potentially to add methods to, or functions rather, to get the ISO names and SHA hashes and stuff like that and expose those to the GUIs, but I'm not. I feel like that's overkill at that point. So yeah, I just wish I didn't have as much stuff syncing, and I don't want to turn it off at the moment because it'll it'll open the default browser and swing all the screens all over the place. But this is working. So how did you do this, Yannick? How did you scrape the because behind the scenes, wget is pulling down the image. So how did you do it? Oh, okay. So try one with some options. Okay, sure thing. I will do that. Started a process and read off standard error. Okay. Yeah, so does it work with the ones when you download over ZSync? So if I go and grab, should I try and break it by grabbing one of the Ubuntu Devel images, which uses ZSync, so the places where progress and what have you are going to be in a slightly different place. Oh, you pass it to find the percentage. Very good. Let's see if it works. We'll give it a try in a moment. Nice job though, doesn't it look good? So do you have VM launching in yours yet, or is that next on your list of features? So let's have a look. The cancel button is grayed out right now, but I intend to make that download process interruptible. Okay. So for the moment, it's only a downloader. Okay. So we should probably put out a call to action to get more distros in here. So it's like a really convenient way to go and grab your favorite distro. because no going off to websites, no manually having to check the SHA things for you. You click a couple of buttons and hit go, and you know you've got the correct version at the end of it. So Yannick was saying the thing that we should test next is so we've got a fourth field called, I think we've called it options now. That was originally added for Windows, where you can choose the language that you want to download the Windows ISO for. But Pop! OS has like two variations. They have an Intel, what they call the Intel driver release, which is basically, you know, Mesa. And then they have an NVIDIA version where the NVIDIA drivers are preloaded. So we've added those to the options so you could download both. And I think when I added that, Yannick was questioning download finished. I'm going to press the dismiss button, Yannick. Look at that. Perfection. Right, so if we go to Pop! OS, here it is with its pretty name. We'll choose 2104 and we'll choose the Intel version and we'll hit download. There we go. So there we were able to choose a variation, and here it comes downloading. I think this is they've got a CDN that they use, so it should come down a bit quicker because it's right next to where I am. So yeah, so we can have these options, which we don't have to do for things like the Ubuntu flavors, because the Ubuntu flavors are each treated as their own operating system. And similarly, I refactored the Linux Mint support so it knows the distinction between Linux Mint, Cinnamon, Mate, and XFCE. But maybe there's another distro out there that has like, well, Manjaro might be a good example, because you have Manjaro with their spins, and Fedora, would the spins be the options? Potentially it could be, I suppose. So that's something to consider. So I think Mark's done a great job with the VM management, so maybe we can merge both projects. Yeah, I mean, you could collaborate on a single project, but there's, you know, we're allowed to have, you know, more than one solution to a similar problem. Yeah, so this is a nice way to test out new servers and new distros, as Esme points out. And the way that Quickemu was designed is that the original use case is you put all of your VMs on a USB stick, so you can travel. Excuse me. Oh dear. Up late fixing snaps. You can travel with tons of VMs on a USB drive and do your testing and what have you. So having a tool like this, you know, this tool will run from that same drive. So maybe I should do something to enable the UIs. Yeah, I'll have a think about that. Maybe I could change it so you could run quickget --UI and it runs Quickgui. And if you run quickemu --UI, it runs Mark's tool, because that's got the VM layout. Yeah, I'm thinking about this, Luke. I'm thinking about quickget Quickgui and quickget Quickemu GUI or something, or maybe just quickget front ends or something. Yes, I'm a big fan of the pink because it matches my racing cars in our virtual racing games. So yeah. Yeah, all my cars are hot pink. So once this one's done, we'll just see. So I suppose I could unceremoniously just kill the app, right, Yannick, and it will leave guts behind. I quite like as well that it actually put it in the... Oh, okay, because my current working directory is different from where I have it extracted, so that makes sense. Okay. It will leave the wget running in the background, of course. Yeah, okay. So that's forked, not spawned. Okay. Right then, so we should be done here. Well, we'll dismiss that. And let's just go and see. Let's just go and see. Sorry if this breaks things, Yannick. So let's choose Devel. Now, I suppose at this point, ZSync is actually going and downloading the ZSync file and saying, oh, well, there is nothing for me to start with. So it's doing that whole block analysis in the background before it actually starts downloading anything. So there will be no, like, if we were to be able to see this, I don't think there'd be anything on the screen at the moment. Or let's do this. So it is running the ZSync. So yeah, that's not quite picking up the percentages there, I don't think. Okay, so it's downloading. Okay, there we go. Sorry to find edge cases. I'll just let that run, but that's looking fantastic, Yannick. Thank you for working on that. I want to fix those two. There's two outstanding bugs. One is getting that Fedora and Arch secure boot stroke EFI stuff working properly. That's the most important one. And then newer versions of QEMU, so 6.1 onwards, they advertise the graphics drivers differently. And I want to include the support for the new graphic drivers names on the newer versions of QEMU. And once I've got those done, then I can start thinking about how we start looking at the GPU pass-through stuff, which may require some internal refactoring of Quickemu to make it easier to work with. But I love that there's graphical tools for this. I should probably... Oh, this... How do you get an icon in the... Oh, dear. I'm so tired. Right. There we go. Anyway, there we go. We have front ends and it's working very nice. It's very pretty as well, Yannick. Excellent work. So, now, I'm not going to forget today, Paul. You're not going to need to prompt me. But if I come over here, I'm going to go and start looking now. See who's doing their thing. Thanks. Thanks, Paul. Yeah. So I've been thinking about things like this I can add. So I've got two ideas which hopefully are not too cheesy and are relevant to what we've been doing here. So let's just take a look. So I noticed that the software and game development category has grown really quickly, because I think I started streaming into this category the day it became available, and there was literally like 100 people following. And today there's nearly 33,000 people following this this category. So let's have a look. What have we got here? Crikey, they're Oh, I tell you, it's always tricky to know. If anyone's got any suggestions, let me know. Your wiki page, Yannick. Sorry, what's this? Am I in the right place? Oh, your Ubuntu membership. Okay, yes, no, I haven't forgotten. I will get to that, don't worry. Okay. I just don't know. Maybe I'll, let's just have a look here. Is there anyone? Here we go. Right, so there's somebody streaming who I follow who's in a different category. So I'm going to suggest we go over there because they're kind of fun. So let's do this. This is another one of these streamers, a bit like Nutty, who does interesting stuff. So let's get all this queued up. Right then. So thank you everyone for stopping by. Appreciate your involvement today. Thank you very much, Yannick, for working on that UI. It's fantastic. I'm going to bring it to a close there. Will I be streaming this evening? I'm streaming over on Slim DevOps this evening. So Slim DevOps, twitch.tv/Slim DevOps. Right, let's go and do this thing. Thanks very much for coming, everyone, and I will see you soon. I'll be streaming here tomorrow morning. Bye for now. Oh, when buttons don't work. There we go.